Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Oh, it's almost the end of November. Today is November 28th, and we have an article for you called How the Sport of Bowling Developed.
中文标题是滚出保龄球的源远流长
Okay, because it's an article, of course, I'll read all the way through it, and then we go back for translation and explanation for you. If you were to guess the earliest sport, bowling might seem a weird choice, but archaeological evidence from Egypt, in the form of wall paintings, depicts figures bowling. These paintings have been dated to 5,200 BCE. Actual pieces of bowling balls have been dated to 3,200 BCE. Few sports have such a lengthy ancestry. The activity we now call bowling has appeared in many versions throughout history. In Europe, bowling seems to have started in Germany in the 3rd or 4th century. A large wooden pin was placed in a churchyard. It was supposed to represent the devil. Those who struck down the pin by either throwing or rolling a rock at it would show how good a Christian they were. By the 14th century, a large ball with 2 drilled holes, one for the thumb and the other for the forefinger, was rolled towards not one but many pins. A little later, another hole was drilled for the middle finger. This ancient game began to look much closer to the game of bowling we know today. By the 17th century, bowling had spread throughout Europe. Martin Luther, Henry VIII, and Sir Francis Drake were said to have been fans of the sport. During the next century, bowling was brought to America by British, German, and Dutch settlers. By then, 9 pins were standard, with one more added in the next century, after which it was called the game of 10 pins. In the 1960s, a professional bowler became the first athlete to earn more than $1 million with a single endorsement deal. After that, the game declined in popularity. Still, some 100 million people play the game in more than 90 countries today. Whether alone or on a team, players can enjoy a bit of wholesome exercise at a relatively low cost. Above all, they get to have fun.
So, if you were to guess the earliest sport, bowling might seem a weird choice. Yes, I agree with that statement, because bowling? But archaeological evidence from Egypt, which you can't dispute, in the form of wall paintings, depicts figures bowling. So this archaeological evidence is wall paintings in Egypt showing people bowling. I'm pretty sure they didn't have like an automatic ball return and things, but I'm sure that it's rolling a ball towards something that you knock down. Actually, this makes sense as an earliest sport because human beings like knocking things down with balls.
And aiming.
And aiming. It's got all the fun bits in a game.
所以这个我们看到埃及的壁画里面古埃及有人在玩类似保龄球这种东西，那他们大概没有那种 ball return 这种 system 这个现在保龄球馆你球打出去，它会有一个机器可以把你的球让它回到你身边来，他们大概没有这个装置但是就像刚刚 Bruce 老师跟 Angela 老师讲的，人类天生就喜欢把东西打破掉，然后呢尤其是喜欢瞄准然后摧毁这个是好像是基因里面的东西。好，那我们回来看这个句子，他说呢 if you were to 这个是个假设语气，如果你要 guess the earliest sport 你要猜最早的运动是什么，那这个时候呢 bowling might seem a weird choice， might 也是假设语气，所以 if you were to 什么什么，然后后面是 might 这都是与现在事实相反的假设语气，或者是在这里就是不太可能你真的必须要猜，但是如果要你猜的话所以是假设语气，所以 bowling 可能是一个 a weird choice， weird 就是 strikingly odd or unusual， 就是很怪你会觉得怎么会这样子呢，所以大部分人会觉得原来你怎么会猜 bowling 呢，但是虽然说这个 choice 很 weird， 但是呢 archaeological 就是考古学上面的一些 evidence 一些证据，来自于埃及的考古学证据。那 in the form of wall paintings 就是以壁画的形式存在的哈 ，in the form of 就是以什么什么样的形式，所以这些 evidence 就是壁画。那这些壁画呢 depicts 就是描述描绘 figures 一些这个人物 bowling 在打保龄球啊 figures bowling 中间省略了 figures which are bowling 就是 which are 省略掉了，所以它 depicts 它描述一些 figures 正在打保龄球。
These paintings have been dated to 5200 BCE. The archaeological paintings found in Egypt are some 7,200 years old. Before Common Era, you can also use BC if you prefer. They mean the same thing. Before Jesus Christ was born, 5,200 years before that. Now that is a lot of prehistory.
好，所以我们看到说这些 paintings 这些壁画呢 have been dated to 好 date 就是 to ascertain 或者 to guess to suggest the date of 在这里应该是 ascertain 啊，就他们定日期，所以被追溯到这些 paintings 被人家认为这个日期可以追溯到西元前5200年哦，那离现在7000多年了。
Actual pieces of bowling balls, the physical remains of bowling balls, have been dated to 3200 BCE.
所以呢 actual 实际上真正的 pieces of 就是一些残片碎片 of bowling balls 就是保龄球，这些真正的保龄球的一些留下的一些碎片呢 have been dated 也被人家定下日期被追溯到差不多是西元前3200年。
Few sports have such a lengthy ancestry. Apparently, it's very difficult to find, or no one has yet found, pieces of sports equipment that are older than these pieces of bowling or the paintings of bowlers, Egyptian bowlers.
I'm going to go ahead and say, though, as far as sports equipment is concerned, bowling balls are the most likely to survive.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair point.
That's a good point.
But not the paintings.
Not the paintings. Yeah. The paintings are actually older than the bowling ball pieces.
好，那这个保龄球其实它应该也比较容易这个存活下来，因为它球比较硬坚硬的东西啊。那其他的运动也许就没有办法运动器材也许就没有办法留下来，所以你可能找不到其他运动器材的这个残迹。那我们看到这个句他说 few 就是几乎没有 few sports 几乎没有其他的运动呢有这么 lengthy 就是长的意思啊，有这么长 lengthy 这个字啊，它可以表示在这里呢它指的是 extended 或者是 of considerable length especially in time 就是指时间很长 lengthy。 不过各位要注意，就是 lengthy 如果你用来指长的话，它常常有一种是 tedious length 的感觉，就是 of great length 但是 of great or tedious length 有一点长的有点让你觉得有点烦那种感觉例如说A lengthy explanation 就是有一点听起来有点太冗长的一个解释所以 lengthy 这个字用来指时间可以指时间很长，但是你如果只是另外一种用法的话呢，可能有一点让人家觉得有点无聊，有点 tedious 那种感觉。
Would you describe that explanation as lengthy?
Yeah, 所以我刚刚那个 explanation 就有一点 lengthy 所以呢大家就注意到这个字的用法好，那 ancestry 这个字呢在这里指的是血统这个或者是这个系谱家谱它有那么久的历史的意思所以很少有运动能够像保龄球一样有这么久的历史可以追溯。
Maybe lengthy, but valuable.
Thank you.
Now, the activity we now call bowling has appeared in many versions throughout history. So the thing is, just because humans have done bowling-like activities over time doesn't mean that they're all the game bowling. Because games are not just about their physical characteristics, but also their rules. Mm-hmm. Just because you're knocking down things with another thing doesn't mean it's bowling the game as we know it now, and it doesn't necessarily have a continuous history over time.
好，所以他说 the activity we now call bowling 我们现在称为保龄球的这种运动呢 activity 这种活动 has appeared 出现 in many versions 以很多不同的版本出现throughout history 就是在历史上 throughout 就是 during the whole period of 或者 during the whole of history 所以历史上其实保龄球有不同形式的 version 不同的版本
In Europe, bowling seems to have started in Germany in the 3rd or 4th century. So out of Egypt into Europe, it'll be thousands of years later in what is now Germany. And this is near the end of the Roman Empire, which never controlled what we now call Germany.
Oh, do you consider the Charlemagne Empire to be an actual Roman Empire thing? Because if so, then yes.
No.
Okay.
好，所以这个3世纪、4世纪大概是罗马帝国的这个末期了哈。所以在欧洲呢 ，bowling 哈似乎是在德国开始的，大概是西元3或4世纪的时候，在那时候开始。
Now, what would happen in this German game is a large wooden pin, and a pin is those kind of penguin-shaped or duck-shaped wooden things at the end of the bowling alley. And so this pin would be placed in a churchyard. Now, at the time, churchyards were the gathering place for people.
好，所以呢 churchyard 好，这个叫做教堂的庭园哈，在当年呢那个时候呢 churchyard 是大家聚集的地方，但是 churchyard 哈，它现在啊常常指的是个 cemetery cemetery 好 cemetery， 所以 churchyard 它是 a yard adjacent to a church， 但是 especially a cemetery 啊，现在通常用来指 a burial ground， 就是一个 cemetery。So
at the time, churchyards were huge and were not yet filled in with dead people.
OK， yeah， 所以我们可以说，当在那个年代哈，这个 churchyard 因为大家都很大哈，那时候也还没有那个埋葬很多的往生的人啊，所以那个时候大家会在那边聚集。但现在的 churchyard 通常人家想到的是 a burial ground round a church。It
was supposed to represent the devil. If you be supposed to...That may not actually seem like a fact, or it might not even seem possible, but for Halloween we dress up and we're supposed to look like devils and whatnot. But here, it was supposed to represent the devil. That's not churchyard, by the way, it's the pin.
那刚刚讲到一个很大的木头的这个保龄球瓶，好 pin 通常用来指保龄球瓶，被放在 churchyard。好，那这个保龄球瓶呢 was supposed to 就是它的原本是它的意义应该是啊，那所以 it was supposed to 就是言下之意就是有的人可能觉得根本不是啊，但是它原来的意思是要这样子啊，原来的目的是要 represent the devil 要代替或者代表魔鬼。
So basically, here's the devil. Strike it down. And those who struck down the pin by either throwing or rolling a rock at it would show how good a Christian they were. If you got good aim, you're a good Christian.
Yeah.
Or strong enough.
Yeah. 所以呢这个 those people who those who struck to strike 的过去式就 to hit hard 的意思所以你打倒struck down the pin 你把那个瓶子打倒怎么打倒 by either throwing 要么你就是丢要么就是 rolling 不会所以 a rock 一个石头要么你就这个丢石头要么就是你滚动一个大石头 at it 就是 at 是指瞄准这个点瞄准这一个 pin 然后呢你丢石头或者是滚石头然后打到这一个 pin 的话呢 would show 就可以显示 how good a Christian they were 就可以显示说他是多么棒的一个这个基督徒所以我想那个时候大概是你打得到就表示你是个很棒的基督徒那事实上打得到打不到跟你的力气跟你的瞄准度有关系啦。
Okay, now we fast forward a millennium. We're 1,000 years later now. By the 14th century, a large ball with 2 drilled holes. So now we're using a ball, not a rock, although it may have been made of stone. To drill is to burrow into something using what we call a drill. If you think of a large nail and a big hammer, you could drill holes into a rock. And the ball used in bowling then had 2 holes, one for the thumb and the other for the forefinger. That's also called the pointer. And if you make an OK sound, your thumb and your forefinger or your thumb and your pointer touch each other. This was rolled. It helped to control the ball. This was rolled towards not one, but many pins. It was no longer just one pin. It doesn't tell us how many, but there were a number of pins.
And I imagine they weren't representing the devil anymore. I think it was just a game at this point.
Yeah. I would think so,
there
too.
were more devils.
You weren't born yet.
The look on your face when you said that was a little bit scary.
OK， 好，所以呢，这个大概1000年后，到 by the 14th century 就是到了的意思。这个 by 就是到了，到了14世纪的时候呢，一个大的球 ，a large ball with 2 drilled holes。drill 就是钻孔所以一个很大的球上面钻了2个孔那2个孔呢，一个是给拇指 thumb， 一个是给食指forefinger 食指。好，那这样的一个球呢 was rolled 被滚动 towards 朝向not one 不是一个瓶子的，这个时候是很多瓶子的。好，那这个我们刚刚开玩笑说，我开玩笑说这个可能表示魔鬼更多了这个1000年后魔鬼更多了，所以要更多的瓶子来打。
And you get more points for taking out more devils.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, 那你这个打倒更多的魔鬼，你得到更多的分数。
I'm a better Christian. I knocked down what is it when you knock down all of the 10 pins?
Strike.
Strike. If you get a strike, you're the best. Yeah.
You're an angel.
You're an angel. That's why I'm called Angela. Okay, so a little later, they drilled another hole for the middle finger, but not just for the middle finger. Like now they have 3 holes for 3 fingers because you get a little more control. With 2 fingers...
A lot more control.
Yeah, with 2 fingers, you have to kind of roll with your hand sideways. With 3 fingers, you can do this underhand roll. I come from a bowling town. Milwaukee. Bowling is the national sport of Milwaukee. Yeah.
Okay. I was on the bowling league.
I'm not very good at it. I am a disgrace to represent my town in terms of bowling.
Hang your head in shame, sister.
But, it's like this. I either get gutter balls or I get strikes. I don't get like middle ground.
There is such a thing.
Yeah.
There is such a bowler.
Yeah, 所以这个 Angela 老师说呢，因为他的家乡 Milwaukee 那个地方很多人打保龄球但他说他自己打得不好那这个我们就开玩笑说你应该觉得很羞愧不过这个 Angela 老师说呢，他打球呢，保龄球要么就 gutter ball， 就是要么就洗沟要么呢就是 strike 要么就是打这个全倒所以是2个极端那 Bruce 老师呢，他打保龄球打得很好那他说这个其实很常见，很多人要么就是洗沟要么就是打全倒。好，所以这个是打保龄球。所以讲到呢这个地方，他说稍后 a little later 就是10世纪之后没多久呢，另外一个洞呢 was drilled 被钻了所以表示原来有2个洞，现在有另外一个洞，表示有3个洞。那另外一个这个孔呢是怎么样？是 for the middle finger， 是给中指。
So this ancient game began to look much closer to the game of bowling we know today. It has holes in the ball. It has several or many pins, not just one.
所以 to look much closer to 就是看起来更接近了，看起来更像了的意思。所以这个很古老的游戏到了这个时候呢，跟我们现在所知道的保龄球越来越接近了，因为有球有球瓶。
Now, by the 17th century, bowling had spread throughout Europe like a disease. I mean...
所以 spread 通常是这个疾病什么会散播那在这个地方 spread 当然不是指疾病但它是散播的意思expand 那所以呢到了17世纪呢，保龄球已经传遍了欧洲。那可以注意到这里用过去完成式 had， 因为 by 它真正的意思是在什么之前，那17世纪是过去，所以在17世纪之前，也就是在过去的过去，这件事已经完成了，所以要用过去完成式，所以是 bowling had spread 然后呢 throughout Europe.
Martin Luther, who started Lutheranism, a kind
he
of
started Protestantism by nailing those 99 theses to the door.
Right. Henry VIII, a very colorful history in English royalty.
Also a famous Protestant, but for different reasons.
He changed England basically from Catholicism to Protestantism.
He invented divorce and beheading your wives.
You have much to learn from history out there. And Sir Francis Drake was a great admiral of the Royal Navy of Britain. Were said to have been fans of the sport. So we're taking 3 very, very historic and famous people who play the common game of bowling.
You can make a joke out of this. What do Martin Luther, Henry VIII, and Sir Francis Drake have in common? And you're expecting a great punchline, and all you have to say is, they loved bowling. And the person is going to be like, okay, good.
I have to go now.
所以呢，这个地方讲到这个马丁路德那当然他是宗教改革重要的人物他由他开始的 Protestant 这个就是新教那这个 Henry VIII 亨利八世那当然也是非常有名的一个英国的君王他跟天主教分手然后搞了英国国教那而且他结婚很多次还有亲手杀了几个太太所以这个也是一个非常有争议的一个但是非常有名非常重要的英国国王那 Sir Francis Drake 他是一个海军上将那他也是冒险犯难非常有名的那这三个人呢 were said to 就是都听说他们 have been fans of the sport 他们都曾经是保龄球的球迷那 have been 在这里呢也是一样是指从现在的角度看过去所以从现在看他们当年曾经是这个时候这种 have been 这样的一个时态那这个刚刚跟 Bruce 老师跟 Angela 在开一个玩笑 Angela 老师说所以呢如果有人问你一个谜题说马丁路德亨利八世跟这个 Sir Francis Drake 这三个人有什么共通之处呢大家可能会想半天哇他们都是怎样结果最后答案就是他们共同之处就是他们都是 fans of bowling
And they'll be like thanks
yeah 那这个听到人就会觉得很可爱这个
Anyways, during the next century, bowling was brought to America by British, German, and Dutch settlers, along with a lot of other things.
Yeah, 然后在下一个世纪也就是18世纪的时候呢保龄球被带到美国谁带来呢英国人也带来了美国人这个德国人也带来了还有荷兰的这些 settler 它可以表示 colonist 可以表示殖民者那在这里其实就是指来美国这个安居落户移民过来的人叫 settlers.
By then, 9 pins were standard. Instead of many or just one, now there were 9. It was fixed. It was standard. With one more added in the next century. So we are now in the 19th century. One more was added, so that's why bowling was called at that time 10 pins instead of 9 that the Dutch and earlier German and English settlers used. There were now 10, and then it became standard, and anyone today would recognize
10-pin bowling.
19th century bowling as what we have today.
By then 就到了那个时候到了当时呢9个瓶子的保龄球 were standard 是标准的 with 怎么样呢 one more added 又增加了一个球瓶这是在 in the next century 就是在19世纪又增加了一个球瓶 after which 就这个之后 it was called the game it was called the game of 10 pins 那个之后呢它不是称为保龄球而称为10瓶10 pins 这样的一个游戏这样的一个运动
Now, in the 1960s, a professional bowler became the first athlete ever to earn more than $1 million with a single endorsement deal, which means a single company gave this dude $1 million. And it was a dude because in the 60s, women weren't allowed to do anything. So anyways, this dude got to have $1 million from a single company to promote their products. And honestly, if you had asked me, I would not have guessed bowling was that sport.
Right.
那1960年代的时候呢一个 professional 一个职业的保龄球的这个球员呢变成了他成为了第一位运动人员他可以赚超过美金100万而且是一个 single 单一的一个 endorsement deal 就是一个代言的合约 deal 是合约endorsement 本来是支持的意思但这里就是我替你代言我替你告诉人家说你的产品很好所以这个很不容易因为你要想在1960年代他第一位代言合约超过100万美金的人居然是个打保龄球的这个大概很多人都会觉得很意外
That's a lot of money.
I'm Googling how many today's dollars that is.
Yeah, 那1960年代美金100万是很多很多钱
So I just looked it up and that would be $8,281,081.08 in 2017.
所以这个在2017年1960年代的100万美元在2017年大概是超过800万美元
After that, the 1960s, the game declined in popularity.
Everyone's like, okay, dude got $1 million. Let's go home.
Something like that. There used to be a TV program, very popular, Bowling for Dollars. Where
that sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, 1950s. That was
before my time.
one of the most popular TV programs.
以前这个美国还有一个非常受欢迎的电视节目，就是打保龄球可以赚钱Bowling for Dollars。好，那这个但是这个1960年代这个代言之后呢 ，the game 就是保龄球 declined 就是 fall 就是开始落下来了 in popularity， 也就是慢慢的没有那么受欢迎了。
Still, some 100 million people play the game in more than 90 countries today. It's a lot of people still playing this game.
但是呢，仍然现在大概有1亿的人打保龄球，在全球大概90个国家有大概1亿人在打保龄球。
Whether alone or on a team, players can enjoy a bit of wholesome exercise at a relatively low cost. Some people go bowling with a friend, 2 people together. You can bowl by yourself. You can bowl on a team, or your team is part of a league. Lots of fun. It's some exercise, and it doesn't cost that much, so it's relatively low cost.
Whether alone, 不管你是一个人打，或者是 on a team， 还是你有一个球队那这些打保龄球的人都可以 enjoy a bit of 一点点的 wholesome， 就是对身心有益的conducive to bodily or spiritual health。那 exercise 对 exercise 当运动不能数的，所以你可以做一些对身心有益的运动。然后呢 ，at a relatively low cost， 就是相对而言 relatively 你的这个需要花的钱是比较少的，成本是比较低的，叫做 at a relatively low cost。
And above all, they get to have fun.
Above all 就是 more than anything else， 最重要的是 they get to have fun， 他们得以享受一些欢乐时光。
We have some questions based on today's lesson for you. Number 1, what is the main purpose of this passage?
本文的主旨为何？
D is the answer, to introduce the history of bowling.
答案是 D， 介绍保龄球的历史。
Number 2, which of the following topics is not mentioned in the passage?
本文没有提到底下哪一个主题呢？
We didn't talk about A, the modern rules of bowling.
答案是 A， 现代保龄球的规则。
Number 3, according to the passage, when was bowling taken to America by European settlers?
根据本文，保龄球在什么时候被欧洲移民带到美国呢？
The answer is C, in the 18th century.
答案是 C， 在18世纪。
And number 4, which of the following statements is true according to the passage?
根据本文，以下哪一项叙述是正确的？
The answer is B. Bowling can be played alone for fun or competitively as a sport. And that's only because C is right now unprovable.
答案是 B 因为保龄球可以为了乐趣而单独进行，也可以作为一项比赛来当做运动，一个比赛的运动。那这个答案正确呢？刚刚 Angela 开一个玩笑，因为 C 这个答案呢，我们现在没有办法证实。C 这个答案说，埃及人是当今世界上最好的保龄球手那我们只知道他们很久以前就开始玩这个，但是不知道当时他们是不是很棒。
That's it for today's program. Join us next month. We'll be